The agenda meeting for the Woodland Hills School Board for September of 2017. Ms. Pule, will you call the roll, please?
Symphony number 2.
Ms. Johnson? Mr. Kuhn? Mr. Hanchett?
Here.
Dr. Hildebrand?
Here.
Mr. Belmont?
Here.
Mr. Tomasic? Ms. Ellison?
Present.
Ms. Glasser?
Present. Will you please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. There is no need for a moment of silence this evening, thankfully. Next week we will accept the minutes for the meeting of August 9th and the meeting of August 16th. The board held an executive session this evening for personnel matters. And Mr. Johnson, we have announcements?
Yeah, a couple of announcements, and then we have a presentation from students here. Just to remind everybody that homecoming is this Friday. I believe the parade starts at 5:45. Does anybody know if that's right? I think that's what it is. But this is homecoming weekend. There's also a land bank meeting tomorrow at 6 o'clock in Homestead at the Tricog offices, and all the board members are invited to attend that. And that's all I have. But then we do have, this is kind of a presentation, but we'll put on announcements. That's fine. We had some really wonderful news with some kids winning the Fairchild and Connects challenges last year from the gifted classes at the Academy. So I'm going to ask Ms. Kathy Pearson to come up and introduce everybody and talk to us about your projects.
If it's okay, I'm just going to turn around and then you face the audience.
That's fine.
I've had, it's always hard to not get emotional when I talk about my kids because they're amazing. I have the privilege and the pleasure of working in Woodland Hills, and I've done that for a very long time and work with many tremendous students. They're the ones that make us what we are, and just a few of them are out here with, to share some of their recent accomplishments with you, but really they've been at it for a very long time. Woodland Hills students from the junior high school, the intermediate school, Fairless, Rankin, and Schaefer, and then the Woodland Hills Academy have been participating for 5 years in both the Fairchild Challenge and the Connect STEM Design Competition. Just to brag a little bit, over the past 5 years in the STEM Championship in Allegheny County, they've taken 15 awards, including in 2016 taking first, second, third, and honorable mention. Some of the members of the second and first place team are back there, but they're actually here for another reason. But gentlemen, would you stand please? The second and first place teams from last year. The first place team, Peter Mancini, advanced to the state championship last year and took third in the state. So, this year we are invited once again to the Allegheny County Championship, and these ladies up front won the championship, and they advanced to the state championship with 24 regional winners from around our state, and they took first place this year. Over there, sort of the design that they created, and they're going to tell you about it if that's okay, and they probably need to be over that way to do it, so go ahead ladies, take it away.
Hi, I'm Alicia.
I'm Callie.
I'm Callie. I'm Zoe. I'm Mia. And I'm Isabel. We are all in the 6th grade at the Woodland Hills Academy. For the Connect STEM Design Regional and State Championships, we were asked to design an environmentally friendly amusement park ride that would help to make the world cleaner, safer, and healthier. The ride we created is called Sea Voyage. C stands for Saving Endangered Animals. It is a boat ride that informs riders about endangered ocean animals. It is powered with energy collected by a wind turbine, and it also collects solar energy. Sea Voyage is a boat ride that teaches riders about endangered species. Riders walk on a dock made of reused materials and get onto a boat that represents an endangered ocean animal. In the water and on the ride, we have many different endangered ocean animals, including a blue whale, a Maui dolphin, a leatherback sea turtle, a narwhal, a Sahel reef snake, and a manatee. Each boat has its own endangered ocean animal created on the bow and stern of the boat. We also created informational billboards that display videos to teach riders about why each species is endangered and what we can do to save them. The riders learn about issues while on the ride. Every time they rotate around, the billboards display information about a different animal. The billboards have solar panels on the top to provide and play the video. The photovoltaic cells convert the sun's rays into electricity.
We decided to use a wind turbine to power the boat ride because we wanted to use an alternative energy source in order to be more environmentally friendly. The propellers on the turbine run a generator which creates electricity. There is a lot of wind at the ocean, so it can provide a good amount of energy to run the Sea Voyage in cities on the ocean such as San Francisco or Miami.
When riders get in line for Sea Voyage, there is a recycling bin for them to put plastic containers in. Plastics are one of the main reasons ocean animals are endangered, so recycling plastic waste from the amusement park will help to save them. When riders exit Sea Voyage, they are encouraged to help make a donation to save endangered ocean animals. Sea Voyage will inspire them to take on environmentally friendly actions, such as not polluting the water.
Sea Voyage helps make the air cleaner because we use wind and solar power instead of burning fossil fuels which pollute the air. It also makes people healthier because they are not breathing toxins in the air. The endangered ocean animals will be safer because people will learn how to help them and make donations to sea to help keep them safe.
Thank you.
So they had to come back this fall and redo all of that pretty seamlessly without any loss of knowledge of how to build it. And that was half of the presentation that they did in Harrisburg. They actually had to tell them a lot more about their design processes and things like that. But congratulations, ladies, and thank you for a wonderful presentation. Gentlemen? Why don't you guys just head over that way? Our 6th, 7th, and 8th graders compete in a very important environmental challenge at the conservatory called the Fairchild Challenge. And it actually goes on in cities across the world, mostly here in the United States, but there are places in South America and Japan that also participate. And throughout the course of one school year, they're asked to do 6 different environmental challenges, working in all disciplines. We do art, and we write, and we do science, and we do it pretty well. So this is not the entire Fairchild team. It is most of the soccer team. They just came to the game, so they're multi-talented children as well. They are going to tell you what the challenges were last year and what they had to do in order to complete them, but really overall we had over 25 students from the Academy participate this year. Gentlemen?
This year we competed in a challenge called the Fairchild Challenge. It's about the environment and ways we can help it and teaching other people about it. There were 5 challenges and we competed in all of them and took first in all of them too. And all of the rest of these guys are going to tell you about each challenge individually and what we had to do. The first challenge was the Nature Journal Challenge. Each school had to create a nature journal that had Well, that made other people, that made themselves get outside, take a picture of anything they find interesting in nature, and draw a picture about it. These are just other pages. For the second challenge, it was the eco-friendly app challenge. So we made Go Eco, which was an environmentally friendly app that encouraged people to get off their phones while using it at the same time. So, you had to take pictures of nature and everything. And there was 3 steps to doing it. First one was learning, learning all the environmental issues and everything. And the second one was thinking, and trying to find out ways to help. And the third way was taking action, which is actually helping with the environment and trying to just clean up pollution and stuff.
The third challenge was the beneficial bugs challenge, and we had to draw bugs and do research on them that benefit the environment, and the praying mantis, and he eats bugs that are bad, and yeah, other bugs, this is the winning drawing right here.
Who drew that?
No, not me. Caden's did.
Who drew that?
Caden.
Oh, okay.
The fourth challenge we don't have an example of here, but it was a writing challenge. You had to write about an article you saw in the paper and your response to it, how you felt about the issue. I wrote about bats and how fracking stops them from living normally because it messes with their habitat, and also it can disturb everything about their lifestyle. It can get them sick and other things, and also how things like fracking can help attack other animals around the world too. And Carson wrote about something else.
I wrote about fracking and how they were going to frack in my own neighborhood, and how air pollution and noise would affect the people in my neighborhood, and water pollution as well.
There was also an optional challenge, which was an a video about an environmental video, and our environmental hero was Janice Sarah, and
she worked for a company that helps make the world a much cleaner place by using recycling alternate energy sources, and they go to schools. They help teach teachers to teach their students actually about the environment too, and we made a video about her.
And for the final challenge, we created the H2O Heroes, and we made art out of recycled plastic. There's some, right here, we made ladybugs, and there's some more there, and then that's a turtle out of all bottle caps. So we also made colored piggy banks, and then we gave them to the kindergarten, first grade, and second grade, and then they donated money that is going to go into helping developing countries in Africa. Well, it's going to give them water and wells and things like that.
Okay, you're good. Also, in addition to the first place and all these wonderful things, over the past years, our students have earned $3,500 in prize money from the Fairchild Challenge and $3,000 from the Connect STEM Design competition in science supplies that we can use in our classrooms. So they are also giving back to our students. They have these great achievements, and we couldn't be prouder of them. However, I wanted to say thank you to the Transportation Department for helping us to get to all these places. I really appreciate that. to the kids, to the administration for allowing me to work here because it's the best place to work. And finally, to those, their parents just are incredible. They help us. They take them places. Hey, who wants to go to the radio show again on Saturday morning? Or, can you please go on 4 field trips in 3 days with me or something like that? And anything I ask of them, they'll do. So I'm greatly appreciative of everything and everyone. Thank you. We might scoot out.
That's fine.
Go for it.
All right. Thank you for having us.
Thank you and congratulations once
you.
again, everyone. We will have student speakers next week, as I understand. Okay, great. And we have a presentation. It's Dorothy Clark.
Why don't you wait a minute till they get...
And if you could use the microphone, that would be great. Yeah. Whenever you're ready.
Okay. Hi, my name's Dorothy Clark. I'm the owner of DMC Design, and you may probably know me better as the T-shirt shop in East Pittsburgh. And if you've gone by there lately, you've probably seen that it looks empty and wondered what happened. Well, we relocated. And I thank you for allowing me to be here to present to you. My concern is that we've relocated, and I've been very, very grateful over the years that many people within the school district have been referring people to us. And they still continue to do that. And they say, just go down there to East Pittsburgh, we're right there. But I want to make you aware that we are now in the Keystone Commons. So we still are in business. We're still doing everything that we used to, but we did lose our retail space, which is a bit of a problem because people are so used to just coming in and buying something off the shelf and going. I can still screen print the things, but I am not able to just sell them that way. And what this does is it does open up a new opportunity to maybe do things a little differently. And that's why I'm here today. I would like to actually request a meeting with, and you decide who I should meet with, to maybe work out a better way of supplying spirit wear for people. I can still do bulk orders, and I am doing them. Currently, we are working on a project for the Edgewood Primary, and it's a fundraiser. So it is special for Edgewood Primary. And they will place an order, we'll do it bulk, and everybody will get what they wanted. But as far as the individual things, and we've been happy to do this over all the years and actually customize it for the individual person, putting people's numbers on their shirts, their names, adding bling, doing all these different creative things. So we'd like to continue to do that, but we want to work closer with the school district so that we can better provide for you. And that is why I'm requesting a meeting, and you decide who I should be meeting with. The second, I guess that was it. I want to, really meet with you and discuss the branding and discuss also how we can turn this into fundraising. because this is something I've been thinking about for a few years, but with what happened, in our relocation, we had to relocate twice within a year, and that affected sales, and so the fundraising did not happen. But I'd like to do something different. Maybe it's an online store. Maybe it's partnering somehow. But that is what I'm looking to do.
Great. Thank you very much. You leave your contact information at the
Okay.
Get in touch.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
You.
Okay. And that will move us to registered speakers.
Great.
I have a couple of those. The board welcomes and encourages public comment. Before making remarks, all speakers should give their name and address of residence. Remarks will be limited to 2 minutes, and questions raised during remarks will be noted and addressed either during discussion or after the meeting adjourns. Okay, so our first speaker is Kate Alaharich. Sorry if I'm mispronouncing that.
Hi, everyone. I'm Kate Halahorich. I live at 44 Atlantic Avenue in Forest Hills. Thanks for your time. And I know that you're aware of some of the issues with the busing involving Central and Oakland students. And some of us wanted to just come to the meeting tonight to give you some more details about the problems that we're having using Port Authority. One of the things we were curious about is if Pat was made aware of how many kids would not be using the bus. And was the board aware of where the bus stops were and how these kids are getting to and from the bus? In talking to some people within Woodland Hills, some of them seem surprised that the kids that aren't being dropped off at school and picked up at school. I mean, they're using the public stops like everybody else would. There are some safety concerns that we have. Most of the kids have to walk significantly farther than they had to walk to get the school bus. They have to catch it on the main road. They have to catch it on Ardmore Boulevard. So a lot of them are, walking. They have to walk down Yost Boulevard or use Bevington or Braddock Road. There are no sidewalks. It's dark in the morning. The only buses that are able to get them to school on time are at 6:40 or about 7:10. And 6:40 is about when they would get the school bus, but that gets them there to school really early. The other one doesn't really give them enough time to get from the bus stop to school and get to their lockers and get to homeroom on time. The buses are overcrowded. Other patrons on the bus are often annoyed with the amount of equipment the kids are bringing with them on the bus. They have their backpacks, their gym bags, their soccer bags, instruments, whatever they need at school for the day they have on the bus. There was a woman that yelled at my 14-year-old yesterday because when the bus stopped and he was standing, he bumped into her and she yelled at him. So they are overcrowded. The kids are also standing most of the time on the bus. The school bus students, on your website, it says that the school bus students have to be seated at all times. And I'm not sure why that isn't true for the kids on the PAT bus. They are standing probably about 80% of the time. I have two boys, a freshman and a senior, and I check with them every day to see, did you get a seat? And they don't. They, for the most part, don't get a seat. I guess that, according to, when I talked to Siobhan at Woodland Hills, she said like a lack of bus drivers was the problem with this, and they have to have clearances and all those kinds of things, which are important, but when you're going on the bus, you don't know who they're on the bus with, so it kind of doesn't make sense. This was kind of sold to us as having advantages for the kids, the convenience of a PAT bus, and like I said, there aren't really many options. There's only one bus that gets the Forest Hills kids from Ardmore to Oakland. I told you about the buses in the morning. In the afternoon, the first bus isn't until 3:20, so that's 40 minutes after they get out of school. So they get home about an hour later. They get home about 4:20, which is an hour later than they have in the past 5 years. My oldest son graduated in 2016, so we've been on the bus a long time. So one of the other things is if the school bus was late to school, the boys would get an excused tardy. They're not excused anymore. Central's experience with people using the PAT bus is that they live in the city and they have many more options than our kids have. We also are concerned with how the state budget might impact the kids if service for Pat is reduced. So that would make it even more difficult. So these are just some of the issues that we hope you might consider, and maybe you could revisit this decision.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Ms. Boobin.
Tracy Boobin, 112 Wilkins. For once, I have something good. Thank you for Ron Corsi. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I investigated him. Wonderful man. And what I couldn't find out, I called my co-workers and had them dig stuff. Wonderful man. Very approachable, spoke to him, actually knew that there was a soccer field. That was very wonderful for our children to know that somebody actually cares about the soccer team. He's very approachable, very hands-on. Thank you. You did a wonderful job. Another wonderful thing is I read the contract for the new AKS. That was a very extensive contract. Very good. Fiscally responsible. Thank you. The kids did a fundraiser at Shop and Save on a Saturday. Tons of people. We have very wonderful people in our neighborhood gave tons of money to our kids. What the kids didn't need are the comments from the public. It would be wonderful if you guys went out in the public and just stood there and said, "Do you have anything to say to me?" You would hear a bundle. Our kids did not need to hear it. That's how upset the public is. It would be nice to get out and just let the public ask you questions. Let them vent, because you would learn a whole lot. You really would. Our kids did not need to hear that. Our kids didn't need to hear all the things that they needed to. It sort of put a damper on, being out there. That's all.
Thank you. Okay. That's the end of the registered speakers, Mr. Johnson. So we'll move on to board matters.
Action item 2.1 will be request the election of PSBA officers. Mike, if you want to add anything to that.
What we will do is we'll ask for you to cast a verbal vote on President-elect and Vice President, since there are two candidates. So you will cast a vote for who you want. We'll record that vote next to their name. Whoever gets the most votes will be the one that I will enter into the system as the person elected for the Woodland Hills School District voting. The other ones are all uncontested for the treasurer and the Western at large. And if you want more information on these individuals, they are out on the PSBA website.
They're also attached to the packets as well. They're attached to the board tabs as well. So
I did put some here, but if you want a little more, they might have some more sometimes on PSBA.
Okay, great.
Action item 2.2, request the election of PSBA Insurance Trust trustees.
This will be we can do this electronically because it's both people will be elected. So you'll just be asked to cast a vote. And when it registers, that'll be the end of that.
So there are two vacancies and two
vacancies in this one, two candidates.
Great. Thank you.
Action item 2.3, request approval to accept the refurbished furniture donation from Gateway Financial. They placed a value of it of $40,000. Mike, didn't we change that, though, to 20?
Well, the letter went out with that.
Okay.
We are going to record something much less because
it doesn't impact us at all.
No.
And it's just an acknowledgement that they gave us a very substantial donation of refurbished furniture, and the board needs by policy to just accept that donation. Yes. So, any questions on that?
That is all at the high school?
It is, I believe, all high school relation.
Some's here.
Some here. Okay, sorry.
Any questions? Seeing none, move on.
Action item 2.4, request approval to accept the revised Act 93 salary matrix for the 17-18 school year. There had been, I think, an error in the previous one, and we just corrected it here.
Questions on that? Seeing none,
Action item 2.5 will be request approval of blank to fill the unexpired term of Mr. Andre Moore on the Board of School Directors of Woodland Hills School District. We only had one applicant, so that would be next week we'll appoint Mr. Graves.
Okay.
Moves us on to special education. And action item 4.1, request approval to ratify the contracts with the Watson Institute Education Center for the 17-18 school year.
Any question?
Yeah, I'm sorry, just going to add the amount is $91,662. That's for 2 students.
Questions?
Action item 4.2, approval to ratify the agreement with Goodwill of Southern Pennsylvania, transition works for the 17-18 school year. That's at a cost not to exceed $14,720.40. I believe that's for a transition student. Is that correct, Jennifer? That's for student in transition, the Goodwill Works? Okay. That's a student who's graduated but is still staying with us for special ed. No questions. Action on 4.3. Approval to ratify the contract with Presley Ridge School for Autism for the 17-18 school year at a total cost of $87,955.40. That's for two students.
Questions? Seeing none, move on.
Action on 4.4 is request approval for Jennifer Johnson to attend 2017-2018 Pennsylvania Fellowship Program for Special Education Leaders. That's a 6-day program, or maybe 8 days, I'm sorry. Some here, some in Harrisburg. There's a cost to register of $495, which we would come from dues and fees, and then the cost of lodging, which we'd have to cover, is about roughly $732, which would be covered from a special education travel account.
Questions on that? Seeing none, we'll move on.
Action item 4.5, approval to ratify the acceptance of the agreement with Glade Run Lutheran Services for therapeutic classrooms at the Rank and Promise program at a total cost not to exceed $170,000. This is, I think, now the 4th year for this partnership. It's been one of our most successful.
Any question?
Action item 4.6, approval to ratify the contracts with PLE, private license facility for the 17-18 school year at a total cost of $257,400. And there are 9 students, and each of them at $28,600 per year.
Any question?
Action on 4.7, approval to ratify contracts with the Western Pennsylvania School for the Deaf for the 2017-18 school year in the amount of $150,549. I don't see, I think there are 3 students, 3 students at an individual cost of $50,183. Of course, that's our partner right here in Edgewood and one of the premier facilities in the country, in my view, for this.
Question? Okay.
Move on to pupil personnel and approval of the female mentoring program at Rank and Promise program for the 2017-18 school year. And I believe there's no cost to us, right, Ms. Golden? So we're very excited about that. Any questions? Action item 6.1, personnel, would be request for approval for sections A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and H.
Questions?
I did get them all. Yeah, we did. Almost sang that.
You should have.
Okay. Action item 6.2, approval to purchase PAeducator.net. That's the system that we use to attract candidates. We've done that for many years. I don't think the price has gone up at all. $3,000 since I've came here in 2011. We were paying that for it.
Any questions on that?
Action item, now we'll move the whole way up to food service and transportation. Action item 9.1, request approval of the attached contract with AKS for transportation of students.
Any questions on that?
Yeah, I have a question. So it says 10 routes. Are these designated anything special for special needs routes, or they just fill in where we need them?
I think you're filling where we need them. Siobhan, can you speak to that? They're not doing specialized transportation, are they?
Yes, they are.
Oh, they are. Sorry. But they also have regular buses, too. They're doing both.
Okay.
But mostly, you're right, filling in holes.
Like, I mean, from the contract, it would be all over the board, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's transportation, knowledge, whatever we need.
That's cool.
If one can't fulfill it, we'll go to the next company. Hopefully they have
Right. I mean, we're looking at 3 companies right now, right?
Yes.
Yeah, we can subcontract. What is the maximum?
25%.
25%. For a student has to have at least 75% of the bus business. Any questions on that?
Additional question? Okay.
Okay, we go to buildings and grounds. And action item 10.1, request ratification of repairs to the Woodland Hills School District junior senior high school soccer stadium turf field. The funding is coming from capital reserve. I don't have the amount on the tab here. I believe it was $5,600, something like that. I'm sorry.
$56.25.
$5,625 coming from capital reserve.
Any questions on that? We expect that's going to extend the life of the field for a number of years.
At least a couple more years, yes. Action item 10.2, request approval of the R&B contracting change order 1, totaling $17,015.03 for the Wolverine Drainage Improvement Project.
Any questions on that? Seeing none.
Action item 10.3, request approval of R&B contracting change order number 2, totaling $6,866.80 for the Wolverine Drainage Improvement Project. These are all coming from Capital Projects Fund 39.
Questions on that?
Why do we have to pay extra to level the goalpost?
Because we didn't know the goalposts. There was no way to tell the goalposts were anchored the way they were until they stripped the field off, the turf off, and when they did, they discovered they were anchored, and they had to be literally welded, cut apart, and then re-welded.
Okay. And the field was a different height.
Yeah.
When they finished.
Okay.
So
I would think that would be part of the but whatever.
Well, it would have been, but until they took the turf off, they didn't know how those were connected.
That makes sense. Thanks.
Yeah. I mean, whoever put them in thinking the field would never change, so that was an oversight for somebody a long time ago, but that was the case.
Mr. Finlayson.
Hi, Bob.
I was on a turf this week, walking around. We have some drainage that collapsed during the construction or after the construction. So I don't think we should pay anything until that stuff is repaired properly.
Okay.
So, and anything that's done with facilities, I should be involved because I don't know anything about any of this that's going on there.
These were all started before you came on.
I know, but if we're approving it now that I'm involved and I'm working.
Okay, well, we'll talk about that separately, Bob.
Okay.
Thank you.
I think maybe we can make a motion to approve it, just so, but approve it on completion of the project. So,
Conditional on satisfactory completion.
Yes.
Along the lines, we can talk about how we want to do that. Okay.
I agree wholeheartedly. Yes.
Yeah.
If stuff hasn't been finished correctly.
Yep.
Well, obviously, we wouldn't ever recommend paying for it if it wasn't done correctly, and him saying that's the first time I was aware of that. So obviously, that's something we'll be doing tomorrow. Is working that out. Action item 10.5, request approval of. 4. Sorry. Request approval of R&B contracting as payee for Man Construction on change order 3 for repairs to the steps at the football stadium. The final cost is $20,022.56. Just to clarify for everybody, this was originally passed in August as a not to exceed $25,000. And it was in August it was awarded to Man Construction, but Man was really a subcontractor for R&B. So with this motion, you're really approving to pay R&B the money. They will in turn pay Man what turned out to be a final cost of $20,000. So this is not new money. This is the same dollars that were approved, and it's actually about $5,000 less than we anticipated.
Questions on that? Okay.
Action item 10.5, request approval of ramp construction Change order 1 totaling $6,480 for the Wilkins Warehouse Roof Project.
Questions on that? Okay.
Action item 10.6, request permission for outside organizations to use facilities for the 17-18 school year.
Questions on those?
Action item 10, I'm sorry, we got that. Action item 10.7, request that the board approve the acceptance of an in-kind grant from Grow Pittsburgh Foundation for a mixed-use learning garden at the Woodland Hills Intermediate School. This is something Ms. Klein worked on. It's going to be about approximately a 2,000 square foot garden, and it is transportable. So if and when we move the intermediate school to a different location, the garden can go with it. But this is a very generous donation. It's a garden that will be changed for each of the seasons, and it's being provided to us entirely free. That will include teacher and student training, and obviously we're very excited about that. It's a nice grant.
Questions on that? Seeing none.
Legal matters, action item 11.1, request approval of the donation of 1/3 ownership in parcel 9 to the County of Allegheny. This is that small piece of pretty much unusable land underneath the bridge here on Bell Avenue. And the county's asking us to donate that because they'll need that before they can replace it. It's really of no value to us, and so we would recommend donating it.
Any questions on that?
And I don't believe, Mike, there's any taxes or anything like that on it.
No, this one
is
ours because of tax back in, I think, 50 years ago.
The 50s,
yeah,
50s or 60s.
There is another parcel on the, they're going to replace, the county's going to replace the bridge off the Rankin, the one going into Swissville. That's the next project that they're going to do. They have the information. There is going to be something that's going to be dealt with on that one regarding tax.
Okay.
We were interested to learn. We always thought that was called Ravine Road down there, but apparently it's actually called Duker Hollow. So always learning.
Okay.
Okay, on to school finance, action under 12.1, request ratification of the bill list for invoices paid after the August 16th, 2017 legislative meeting.
Any questions? Seeing none. One.
Action under 12.2, request approval of the September 2017 bill list.
Questions on that? Okay. Seeing none.
Action under 12.3, request the acceptance of the August 2017 fund reports for informational purposes.
Any questions on those? Seeing none. One.
Action under 12.4, request approval of the investment reports for August of 2017.
Question? Okay.
Action item 12.5, request the acceptance of the August 2017 student activity reports for informational purposes.
Questions on those? Seeing none.
Action item 12.6, request approval to open capital project bank account with Pledget for the general obligation bond of 2017 bond proceeds. And essentially we're opening an account to keep that money.
Any questions on that? Okay. Moving on.
Request action on 12.7, request approval to purchase SEC post-issuance compliance services from DAC at an initial cost of $3,000 and thereafter at an annual fee of $1,500. Mike, do you want to explain a little bit more of that? There's a lot of alphabet soup there.
Yeah, this is we have to disclose information annually for the 2013 issue by December 31st, and for the 2016 and this 2017 issue will be March 31st. And in prior years, the district has not kept up with the reporting of it. We are current, but we filed all the information after the due dates. So this is something that they basically asked us to participate in until we get ourselves completely current. It was almost an ask, please do this so that we can feel better about the whole issue. I mean, I spoke with the auditors about getting the audit earlier this year so we can get that in on time. We had a little trouble last year with the December 31st date. That's a big item. The audit wasn't available because we didn't accept it until March. So, and then there's other information that we have to provide operating data that we have, but this is just a reminder service we'll use for a couple of years. And we get everything caught up and feeling comfortable again.
Any questions on that? Moving on.
Go to section 13, Assistant Superintendent, 13.1, permission to participate in the Future Ready Alliance in conjunction with the Consortium for Public Education in the amount of $2,900, funding from the general fund. It's a little vague because that's where everything comes from, but we'll clarify that.
Any questions on that?
Okay.
Forward.
Move to 14, Superintendent. I'm going to ask to withdraw 14.1 after realizing Jennifer's going to that as well. This is the same thing that Ms. Johnson's going to. And looking at the time commitment, I really don't think it's in, and it wasn't mandatory for me. It really was more or less required for her. I was invited and suggested, but I do not have to attend. So with the board's permission, I'm just going to withdraw that and not attend. So then we can go to action item 14.2. This one I am asking to go to is request approval for the superintendent to attend the AASA conference on school discipline at the Alex Haley Farm in Knoxville, Tennessee, October 12th through October 13th. There's no cost to the district. The lodging is provided. Registration is covered. This was part of an issue Alicia and I have been working on with AASA for a couple of years, and this is the culminating event. So, I'd like to attend that.
To clarify, there will be travel costs for this.
There'll be travel costs. That'll be it. Yeah.
Okay. Any other questions on that? Moving forward.
So there will be no lodging. Lodging is
right.
covered. It's just the actual travel. Okay. Action item 14.3 is request the board's approval to partner with Carnegie Mellon University School of Design on a research project to improve school bus disciplinary outcomes. This is going to be Carnegie Mellon is going to have some graduate students who are going to convene some focus groups with parents and students who utilize Woodland Hills School District busing in an effort to try and learn more about stakeholder and student ideas on ways to improve the bus experience for everybody. This is a completely voluntary program. There are no costs to the district. There are no costs to the families involved. We have to have an MOU, which Mr. Vogel is going to be working on with solicitors from Carnegie Mellon. This is part of our ongoing partnership with United Way and the Buell Foundation and Carnegie Mellon and the IU on finding ways to be more efficient and effective with bus transportation in Allegheny County. We in Pittsburgh Public were selected to be the pilot schools in this, so this is part of that overall effort.
Any questions on that? Seeing none? On.
Action item 14.4, request approval for a research project in conjunction with UPMC Children's Hospital to study the effects of vitamin D on children with asthma. We've had a long-standing relationship with both Children's Hospital and Allegheny General on working with kids with asthma because our region, our area, has among the highest asthma rates in Allegheny County, which has the highest asthma rates in all of Pennsylvania. And they've actually come up with a protocol for trying to prevent some of those, but they'd like to be able to work with our families. This is another one where the participation by the families is totally voluntary. Our role in this will only be to help identify the researchers whose students are that have those issues, and then they can converse with the families and ask them if they invite them to be part of the study or not. So other than that, we aren't, they're not doing this on school time or on school property. It would be done strictly as a partnership between the university and the parent. The school district's role in that would be to help connect the researchers to the eligible families. But it's a very good one in that they're looking at some ways to help prevent or ward off the these severe pulmonary diseases which afflict so many of our kids. Hope I've explained that well. If there are any questions on that.
Okay. Seeing none?
Okay. That's all I have, Ms. Glasser.
Okay. Is there any old business? New business?
Yes, I'd like to speak about some transportation. A couple of issues, personal and some emails and calls I had from parents. We're only into the second week of school. However, I'm giving credit, again, into the second week of school, so we're going to have a couple of late buses, things like that. But there's some major things. One was personal, where my child was lost on the way to school for over an hour. Things like that can't happen. So I'm suggesting we need to really think of some solutions, whether it be, maybe helping in committee or trying to figure out a way to work with our companies to make sure that these drivers, know where they're going, if they have their routes mapped out. Tardiness, there's several buildings where it's just kids are standing out there for over a half hour. They're coming to school late, missing breakfast, and it's very disturbing for me just being up here and as a parent. So I just kind of want to throw that out there. Maybe we need to really be proactive, be busy on that earlier. And I heard some of the registered speakers talking about their experiences with buses. So I'd like to really.
That's something we can look at a committee at the end of the month. Is that?
Yeah, that's one solution. I'm hoping that could work, but it's really bad. So.
Would you like us to invite some representatives from the bus companies to come to that meeting?
Yeah, that would be great. Just out there for the parents who want to come. I think that would be a great time. They're sharing their experiences. So that would be a great public meeting to so they could be involved with that as well. So we can again get ahead of this without having our families be shocked and with. Like the speaker was saying today about, there's only two options with the PAT buses, and we need time to help our children, get to where they're going. And as far as losing them, that's just not acceptable.
Okay. So just so that we're all on the same page, the Transportation Committee meeting is scheduled for, at this point, for Wednesday the 27th.
Well,
there has been some conversation about moving committee meetings for this month because they conflict with open houses in our buildings. So we can now, since we're here, we can discuss whether we want to move those committees back a week. What's the will of the board on that?
Monday, the 25th, starting off with transportation.
Would that be acceptable to move the committee to the 25th?
I would agree. That would take some pressure off for those of us
who have open house that night. Mr. Hanchen, any thoughts on that? Is that fine?
That's fine.
Okay. Dr. Hildebrand?
Moving it to the 25th as opposed to back a week.
As opposed to back to the Tuesday the following week. Instead of going to the first week of October, moving
So
just...
you have all the meetings on one day?
No, we would have them Monday. We would leave the Tuesday meetings where they are on the 26th.
Well, that's...
Tuesday is
still a conflict.
Tuesday and Wednesday are conflict.
Right.
Yeah, Tuesday and Wednesday.
Open house.
I mean, we could try, Leisha and I could probably consolidate. I mean, ones that are most important right now are probably transportation and facilities. And we could look at maybe having abbreviated reports done from some of the other ones, but there's not a big deal, and share that with the board, get them done. I think we could get them all done in one night.
Okay.
We'll just be very economical with our time.
Right. Thoughts on that?
You're saying move everything to the 25th?
Yeah, just this one time. We'll do them all on that day. Because if we move them to the following week, we're starting to interfere with borough meetings, which we've had some plans about attending of that, and it gets problematic. I think it's probably the best solution.
We were planning to start them at 6. Is that still acceptable? Okay. All right. So 6 o'clock on the 25th. We'll have to advertise that.
Yeah, Julie, make sure we don't forget to put that out tomorrow.
Okay. So there are no committee reports this month because. Any other new business?
No, I was going to talk about the committees, but you did that.
Okay. Great. That we don't have committee reports this month because we have not had committee meetings between the August and September meetings, which moves us to public comment. Again, We welcome and encourage public comment. If there's anyone who has anything they wish to say to the board, now is an opportune time to do that. Comment will be limited to 2 minutes, and speakers should give their names and addresses when they come to the podium. Thank you.
Louis Berry. I live on 256 Fleet Street in Rankin. I'm up here tonight because, in light, of all the bad things that happened in the past and the removal of Mr. Murray, there's a rumor that Mr. Murray was paid a sizable fee to go away. And if this is the truth, I will get to the bottom of it. I'll get to the bottom of the dollar figure. It's not acceptable for the taxpayers in the school district to pay for a person who was an extreme disciplinarian of our children. It's just not acceptable. And I'm going to dig, and I'm going to dig, and I'm going to get to the bottom of it. I don't want to quote that figure until I have the facts. But if that figure is what I hear that figure is, it's not acceptable. He should have been fired. That's all I have.
We're going to release the agreement with the payment tomorrow to the media, to the Tribune, Review, and the Post-Gazette. So it'll be printed. It'll be printed tomorrow. Probably, we had to wait till the close of business tomorrow because Mr. Murray has until that time to change his mind. But assuming he doesn't, we'll release it to the media, and you can see it then. It's not the number that you heard because I heard it too. But these I'm not being coy by not giving it to you. We just aren't supposed to release it until tomorrow.
That's why I didn't quote the number.
Yeah, but you'll have it. You'll have it. It'll be tomorrow in the paper in the afternoon.
Right.
On their websites, I assume. We'll release the statement.
Thank you, Mr. Johnson.
Sure, Mr. Barrett. Thank you.
Hello, Kevin Jordan. I am a business owner at Edgewood Town Center. My business is Adaptive Behavioral Services. We are a provider of outpatient behavioral health services. And the reason why I wanted to address this committee today is because we have initiated a program to target kids who have undergone trauma. A lot of violence and trauma exists here. And so what I wanted to do was just to kind of give you an overview of what we're looking to do to work with the kids in this district. The program will occur after school at our facility in the Edgewood Town Center, Suite 550. The program is basically geared towards helping kids who have behavioral issues, who have been through a number of life events such as bullying, violence, gun violence, we know exists, emotional abuse, physical abuse. So what I wanted to do was just get the buy-in from the school district because we're going to be marketing this program to the children in the district, to their parents. The program, we're calling it the Sport Balance Program, and it's all about teaching kids how to get focused using clinical approaches through basically group therapy. And I think that this is the time now that, where kids are going through a lot of changes in their life, especially the teenagers. And so we've, and Mr. Johnson, I met with you.
Yeah, I apologize because I've been meaning to reach out to you. I definitely support your mission. I'm definitely going to reach out. I'll call you tomorrow.
Okay.
You did call me, and I apologize. It got lost in the shuffle, and that's no excuse. But I will contact you. But this is because it's an excellent program. I'll let you finish. I'm sorry.
Okay. And so essentially, we're trying to work with these kids. It'll benefit the school, it'll benefit the district, it benefits the community if we're able to get kids into a place where they can focus and where they have a balanced mindset. And so that's what our goal is here. And I have some packets for you that I can leave. You can look through the packets. This is the information that will be communicated. And hopefully, if I'm allowed or available to speak at a board meeting, I would love to do so to address the community. But we're trying to be part of the solution. And so that's our aim here. It doesn't cost the district anything. The services are paid for by the kids' health insurance. So it kind of keeps us from having, the district to have to fork up money to accomplish something that I hope would benefit the district. And also, we're looking at it as we're choosing Woodland Hills as the pilot for this initiative, and we're eventually look to implement it in other communities. But I just wanted to address you and let you know that this is what we're looking to do and to work with you in that.
And if I may add, Mr. Jordan has tried to partner with us on at least one or two other occasions, and totally our fault, not his. It hasn't meshed out, but I really admire of his organization and what he does. He provides a variety of mental health services that's really, really tailored to the kids in Woodland Hills, especially kids coming out of underserved backgrounds and poverty, which is really hard to find because a lot of the services and partners we work with aren't really geared to that, and he is. So I'm really excited, and I apologize for not getting back to you earlier, but I will give you a call tomorrow. We'll get together. Okay. And if there's any way we make this happen, we'll. I think this would be something really great for the district, so I appreciate you coming.
Yeah. Who could I leave this with?
Julie.
Okay.
Thank you very much. Any additional public comment at this time?
Eric Hellahorich, 484 Atlantic Avenue. I'd like to just continue a little bit about the bus situation with the Forest Hills kids, the students that go to Oakland and Central. I've been riding the PET bus going downtown for 20 years. I can speak as an adult that it's not a pleasant experience. The bus is full. The 69 that these students have to take, which is their only option to get in Forest Hills, is a small bus. It gets full. It's not just people in Forest Hills on this bus. It's people from Trafford, Forest Hills, and then it goes on into Oakland and picks up people there. It's a short bus. I don't know if you ever stood on a bus and you have to hold the straps up here. Not every high school kid is 5'8" like myself or 6 foot. It's difficult to hold and keep your hands up like this for 40 minutes with a backpack on and possibly an instrument or whatever else they're carrying. So to think that this was sold as a convenience to them is really not the case. How it was rolled out with no notice is inexcusable. Coming home, you also have Pitt students on there. They're on the bus before the Central and Oakland girls get on. Then they get on, and then CMU kids get on, and they keep pushing back, and the bus is small, and again, there's nowhere to hold, and you're standing like this. It's not safe. The other thing that's not safe is crossing Ardmore Boulevard. And God forbid, if anything would happen, I know these are all high school kids, and they should understand, cross at the light, but you cannot always control the vehicles. It's dark, you cannot control that. As much as we tell them, you have to wait for the light, you have to cross then, you cannot control everything. And God forbid, again, if something would happen to a student, regardless of what school they go to, and it happened because a public school bus was taken away for cost or whatever reason it was, that's really inexcusable, and I would hate to see that happen to any kid. Thank
you.
Burkholder, 525 Glasgow Road. Good evening. This is my first school board meeting. I do want to also reiterate the bus situation. It is a concern. I am very sorry about your child. I can imagine. I have had issues for a few years, and I think everyone knows there have been issues for a few years. There are recurring problems with the transportation area. I also think that a committee, and I would love to be included in any meeting that is set. I think a lot of parents should be. We don't feel that we're being paid attention to. We don't feel like it matters. And looking, I'm not sure how many people it's even registered. I'm just talking tonight. I know it's a long day. I know everyone's tired. But I do think our children's safety and all the other great things the district is doing and the opportunities they provide these children is extremely important. And like I said, I know we're tired. I know we're yawning. I know we're on our phones. But I think the parents just do not feel like we're being listened to. And time and again, like with your child and with the school bus situation, we are told a few days before school starts what happens, and there's no recourse for us to follow. So it leaves us scrambling at the last minute, and I think we just want to be taken seriously, and we want to have a voice at the table. I understand it's extremely complicated, and it's a difficult job, like herding cats. But I do think that we deserve that, and I think that it's just fair. So if there is a meeting, I would love to have the parents be included.
To be very clear, before you sit down, the meeting on the 25th is public. It's an open meeting. It'll be at 6 p.m. So.
And where will that be? Will that be?
It'll be here in this building.
Okay, and it will be posted on the website?
Yes.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, Zach Lesnikowski, 539 Decatur Avenue. I stand here on behalf of the students you have affected by terminating 2 of the 3 school buses, Central and Oakland Catholic. I was one of the first, if not the first kid on the school bus, and I always got to school on time. School buses were never late, and on the way home, I would get picked up at school at 2:45, and the latest I would get off is 3:35 to 3:40. If I was riding the PAP bus, I wouldn't get home until 4 to 4:20, and today I had an ice hockey game, and I had to be there for 4 o'clock, so you never took into consideration athletics or club sports after school for students to make to. Whenever we contacted First Student about this bus situation, they told us that if you would have contacted them before school started, that you needed school buses and routes, they would have had school buses ready to go. Safety is a huge issue. I'm a senior, and I could just imagine what it's like for small freshmen to have to cross major roadways on their own in the dark in the wintertime with this kind of clothing on and girls in skirts that have to cross major roadways. That is a huge safety issue. Also, how far we have to walk just to get to a PAP bus stop. I have to walk 5 to 6 blocks. Other kids have to walk 8 to 10, and that's unacceptable. School buses, we had to walk a couple blocks, and we knew that the school bus would be there. PAP buses, I've had a couple friends that actually tried to ride the PAP bus, and they said sometimes it never showed up. And if you don't get a PAP bus to school, you can't get to school, and it's an unexcused absence. If unexcused absences start to pile up, you get detentions. School buses, if they're late, you get excused absences at school, and you don't get detentions. Central and Oakland Catholic kids never took for granted their school bus. We always came on the bus with smiles, and we were always told how nice we were, how well we behaved towards our school bus driver. Whenever he passed away, we were told at his funeral, and that was attended by almost every single kid on that school bus, that he always talked about us, how much he cared for us, and how much they're going to miss hearing about Central and Oakland Catholic kids. We never took for granted our school bus, and we wish we still had it. We hope that you consider giving us the school bus back and changing what you have implemented right now. Thank you.
Thank you. Any additional comment?
Yes. Can I go? Because I would like to speak because that is why I'm sending my son to Central Catholic. My son, hello, my name is Jennifer Marks. I am a 17-year resident of Woodland Hills, and
sorry, your address, Ms. Marks?
13 Concord Road. And the reason I'm up here today is obviously for the transportation, the bus situation. My son is a freshman at Central Catholic. My daughter goes to Oakland. And I took it for granted that there would be a bus for him. My son has special needs. My son now is expected to go onto a public bus and then get off blocks away from the school and then wait 40 minutes on the way home and go on to public transportation and cross over Ardmore Boulevard to get home. This is all very upsetting to me. I'm so sorry. But I don't understand why we didn't have any information until the last minute. And my son has special needs. I think there should be something for him. And if that means that you guys are going to offer him something, can't we get a bus for all of them? The kids are well behaved. There's never a problem. And it would be a godsend for him socially to be able to be on a school bus. A regular PAT bus is not a sensory troubled child. It's their nightmare. It's a nightmare for them. And not only that, I watched him get off the bus where at Craig and Forbes. I sat in my car and I watched, and we had talked about it, how you do it. His sister went off her way to Oakland, and he proceeded to go down a totally different way, and where all the other Central kids went one way, he went a whole other way, and he was on his way to getting lost. Had I not been there, I went down, caught him, and I said, Tyler, you can't do this. I said, you have to stay with everybody else. Now, I'm terrified every day. He has yet to even take the bus home. His dad has to pick him up every day because 40 minutes, that's a long time. And had we known about this, I just want to know what are my options. I called every day for a week, and I never got, all I got was, I'm sorry, but I never got, isn't it a law that a child with special needs should have a safe trip to and from school? Isn't there a law for that? Oh my, and then my daughter, she's like, Mom, there was a 2-hour delay for both schools today. And every Wednesday, Central has a 2-hour delay. Well, they used to accommodate that. Well, now she's like, Mom, you have to take me to school now. I can't do this because I'm either going to be late or we're going to be an hour early. There's so many things that are so, it's just throwing everybody for a loop. And then my special needs kid. What do I do? What do I do? Could you please tell me? I would love to have some answers. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Todd Lesnikowski, 539 Decatur Avenue. That was my son Zachary that spoke earlier. We just had a comment over here from you that you said that the child was unaccounted for 40 minutes to an hour. Every day that my son has to take a PAT bus, he's unaccounted for. There's nobody looking out for him. It's not like when you have a school bus driver that knows that they're supposed to pick up this child every day, that they know that it's their responsibility to get them to school, and it's their responsibility to get them home from school. You're putting them out there where anybody can prey on them. These are all minors. They're all minors. They're all under 18. And you're asking them to go out into the public onto the busy street, and my son will have to leave at 6 o'clock in the morning. In the wintertime, what time does it get light? 7? 7:30? So he's got to go out in the dark along the slushy roads in Woodland Hills. It doesn't matter which road you go on in the wintertime, they're going to be slushy. Dressed as he is or as all of you are. I ask any of you to go and start at our home, walk down to the bus stop in the morning, as you're dressed currently, carrying a backpack that weighs anywhere from 10 to 15 to 20 pounds, depending on what his day is, to take that onto a bus that's overcrowded, without a seat, to get to school and then be able to focus on what you're supposed to do for the rest of the day, knowing you have to do the same thing to come home every day of the year. It's not a pleasant situation for these children. They're not like us. They haven't had life experiences yet to know how to deal with these things, especially the freshmen and the young women that are going to be riding on this in their skirts, all with their nice shoes on. And if they're late, they know they're going to be penalized for it, which makes their day even more stressful. Thank you.
Thank you. Any further public comment? Seeing none. Is there a motion to adjourn? All in favor?
Aye.
Meeting adjourned. Thank you.